Upon reaching the Demon King's castle, he realizes that it is empty, and he cannot see anyone in it. He sees a light ahead and speaks to himself, "The Demon King must be there, and I will surely slay him," as he draws his sword and approaches the Demon King. He's surprised to find that the demon is a woman with a calm voice. She greets him, "Hello." The hero trips upon seeing her breasts, and asks where the Demon King is. She explains that she is the Demon King he has been searching for, the 43rd Demon King, also known as the Ruby Eyes. The hero is stunned and cannot believe that the Demon King is a woman. She shows him her crest, which is on her breasts, but he tells her to stop showing him her breasts. He tries to show her his seriousness about killing her, but she remains relaxed and not afraid of him. When he asks why she is so relaxed, she tells him that she has been waiting endlessly to speak with him. The Demon King offers to make the hero his, but he refuses. She asks him if he is refusing and explains that everything that is going wrong in the world is because of her. She tells him that all the suffering people experience is their own doing and that they do evil and blame it on the demons. The hero cannot forgive her because demons have killed people, but she points out that humans have killed demons too. The hero draws his sword again, but the Demon King tells him to stop and that she loves him. She hands him a scroll about economic analysis and explains to him the advantages of war, including how it has kept humans alive by providing them with food and unifying them. She argues that the war has gained human security because it has never reached the human world. The Demon King tries to persuade the hero to be her guide to a place where she has been longing to see. She shares her feelings with him and promises to honor contracts above everything else, promising to stick by his side through sickness and health. The hero worries about having to kill people but agrees to go with her anyway. They start journeying by exploring for food, and she embraces him, declaring that she belongs to him and he belongs to her. The hero and the Demon King have arrived in a new land where they are greeted by the Demon King's maid. The maid expresses her excitement at their arrival and assumes they are married, but the hero and the Demon King explain that they are only in a contract to share each other's possessions. The maid has to teach the people about agriculture and has already informed the town of their arrival before going to sleep. The Demon King instructs the maid not to reveal their true identities to anyone as it will buy them more time to accomplish their goals. As the hero and Demon King sit by the fire and talk, the Demon King invites the hero to sit by her side for warmth. The hero obliges and even rests on her lap. However, their moment is interrupted by noise from the stables, and they discover two young children hiding there. The maid recognizes them as serfs and plans to return them to their owner in the morning, but the Demon King insists on taking care of them, giving them a place to stay and teaching them to become maids. The hero feels inadequate after one of the young girls tells him about the Demon King's teachings. He realizes he has never thought about what he would do when he finally has peace. The Demon King reaches some local children, including the young girl she found in the stables. The boys argue that starvation is for the weak, but the girls ask them if they have ever experienced it. The Demon King sends the children back, and the hero finds her sitting on the stairs. He compliments her for her good work, but she laments that teaching the human children is tiring because they are like animals and neither logic nor negotiation works. She even mentions turning them into frogs, but the hero dissuades her. The Demon King and the hero set out to the village's elder's house to teach, but the Demon King worries about being cold in the rain. The hero pulls her close and covers her with his coat, and she expresses her gratitude for making him hers. The Demon King worries about the large-scale farming practices in the village, but the hero is by her side to support her. The local farmers greet the Demon King and the hero at the farm, complimenting them on their good work. They then show the pair how to prepare the food they have been given. The Demon King is happy to see the two children fitting in with the rest of the children she teaches and expresses her joy to the hero. The maid asks if they have enjoyed their time outside, and the Demon King replies that things are looking up and they can start harvesting that day. The maid then asks if there is any auspicious news, but the Demon King and hero look at each other and say there's nothing to tell. The Demon King teleports to another country to meet with the church. The hero tells the Demon King that the church emphasizes punctuality and reveals that he is not a devout follower of the light spirit. The Demon King expresses relief as she would have felt bad if he were a worshipper. Upon arriving at the church, the hero assures the Demon King that he will protect her in case negotiations fail. The Demon King and hero are greeted by the prioress, who is shocked to see the hero and slaps him for worrying her. The Demon King clears up the situation by introducing herself as a Crimson Scholar and the hero as her bodyguard. The Demon King then petitions the convent for aid and presents them with a pack of 3 potatoes as a gift. The prioress tastes the potato and agrees to bring the convent to the village to teach the villagers. The Demon King then explains to the hero why she has been locking herself in her room. A man receives a letter and a compass and presents them to the leader of the alliance. They worry about the inventor's intentions and agree to be careful. Finally, the Demon King and hero bid farewell as the hero is leaving for a while. The Demon King worries that they won't perform the proper goodbye ritual, but the hero kisses her on the forehead and promises to do the rest when he returns. The maids are busily sewing a dress for the Demon King as she prepares to meet with a merchant from the alliance. They discuss how the female knight princess was upset upon arriving at the village and realizing that the hero was not there. The maid compliments the Demon King, stating that she looks stunning in the dress they are sewing for her. The Demon King replies that looking good is a crucial part of negotiating. Meanwhile, the merchant and his accomplices are nervous about who they will be meeting. They discuss among themselves that if they were meeting a soldier, they would have brought more force. The maid tells the Demon King that if they're lucky, the hero may return before the meeting begins. The Demon King reassures the maid that even if things go wrong, they don't need to rely on the hero. The merchant and his accomplice agree that if things go wrong, they will follow the plan. The merchant and his accomplice are greeted with surprise when they discover that the person they will be negotiating with is a woman. They compliment the Demon King's beauty and wisdom. The Demon King opens a treasure box and shows them corn, explaining how and when to plant and harvest it. The merchant asks what the Demon King wants in return, and she states that she wants the war to end without a winner or loser inside. The merchant is skeptical, but after some negotiation, they agree on the terms, and the merchant orders his forces to retreat. The merchant even goes so far as to propose to the Demon King, calling her his beloved, but she rejects him vehemently. The Demon King is worried about the hero, who has been away for 6 months. She is tired and complains about the numerous papers she has received from the alliance. She expresses her frustration that the hero's letters don't mention if he misses her. The maid reminds her that worrying and staying angry will only cause wrinkles. As the maid walks into the living room, she discovers the hero hiding in a box under a seat. The hero acknowledges that the maid always knows where to find him. She asks him if he has written any new letters, and he promises to write one right away. The maid questions why the hero keeps avoiding the Demon King and if he will not meet her this time. The hero complains that the Demon King never lets him fight and that he feels useless being kept by her side all the time. The maid reminds the hero that everything he has belongs to the Demon King. The maid approaches the female knight and expresses her desire to learn to fight. She compliments the female knight, stating that she teaches better than the hero. They chat and laugh, reminiscing about their past experiences. The maid asks the female knight if she is now a human, and they continue their conversation. The hero saves a demon girl who is being harassed by soldiers in a bar. A Winter King and another king are preparing for war against the demons to take over Aurora Island. The other king insults the Winter King, blaming his incompetence for the loss of Aurora Island. This upsets the Winter King's son, who tries to draw his sword, but his father stops him. The king reassures them, stating that they are well prepared, and the number of ships they have is too many for the demons to conquer. On the other side, the hero asks the demon girl he saved about the difference between the soldiers inside and outside. The demon girl explains that the ones inside are either the king's children or relatives, while those outside are common soldiers. She reveals that soldiers of higher status often abuse the demons and do terrible things to them. The hero expresses his concern and wonders what the Demon King might have advised him about the situation. The demon girl asks the hero if he lost to the Demon King, to which he replies that he doesn't belong to the Demon King, as he didn't lose. The hero also explains that winning doesn't give one the right to do as one pleases. The Winter King, the mage, who has been appointed as the general of the Winter King's army, and the old man are waiting for the arrival of the Demon King, who is approaching them as the Crimson Scholar. The Winter King asks why the Crimson Scholar has come to the battlefield. The Demon King makes her grand entrance and explains that if they truly want to win, they will need her help. The old man spots the Demon King and calls out to her, causing the mage to wonder if the old man has recognized her as the Demon King. The old man approaches the Demon King and requests to examine her lovely chest more closely. The mage knocks the old man out by hitting him over the head with a jar, disgusted by his obsession with breasts. The Winter King and the Demon King introduce themselves to each other. The Winter King apologizes for not thanking the Demon King in person for her help earlier. The Demon King reveals her plans for defeating the demons on Aurora Island and requests more time in exchange for the 6 cards of resources she has brought with her. The Winter King's army successfully battles the first wave of demons, but they worry about defeating the rest. The Demon King assures them that she has the plan to bring in soldiers from Gateway City. Just as a soldier arrives to report that an army has been spotted on another side of the island, the hero suddenly teleports into the cabin where they are meeting. They are all shocked to see him, and the mage embraces him, causing the Demon King to feel a pang of jealousy. Another soldier comes in with the news that the Ice General from the demon army is approaching and wiping out the Winter King's soldiers in his path. The mage vows to go and fight the Ice General as she is the general of Winter King's army. The mage and the Ice General engage in combat, and the Ice General is ultimately defeated. The Winter King's soldiers begin to celebrate their victory, but the mage warns them not to be too hasty and orders them to finish off the remaining demons. The Winter King gives a celebratory speech to mark their victory. The hero and the old man have a humorous conversation that leaves them all laughing. The mage and the hero are training outside. The hero uses his magic to dodge the mage's sword, but she calls it unfair. However, the hero reminds her that in a real fight, nothing is fair, and she must learn to adapt. The mage finally manages to catch the hero and places her sword at his neck, to which he compliments her improvement. After training, they take a shower, and the mage removes her clothes, covering only her breasts with a towel. The hero has taken aback and turns to look, but the mage sits him down and begins to style his hair. The little maid runs up to them with a cup of orange drink that he made himself, and the hero compliments her on her creation. The Demon King says she only told the maid about the carbonated spring, but she figured it out herself, and the drink she made is magical. At Gateway City, the general who deserted the city with all of the soldiers to fight the demons at Aurora Island is being questioned by the council. He pleads for mercy and time, but they sentence him to death and throw him in a prison cell where he cries. Back at the Demon King's village, an earthquake occurs, and the head maid rushes to the Demon King's office, finding her hiding under a table. The Demon King reveals that they knew this would eventually happen and that it's already happened twice in just 1 year. The head maid is shocked that they have had 2 years of peace. The Demon King then takes the hero and the older maid to the Iron Country to visit a workshop. The hero is impressed by the printing press and its capability to produce thousands of prints in a day. As he sleeps, the Demon King and the mage try to sneak into his room and argue over who should go first. The head maid intervenes and pushes them all inside, waking up the hero and forcing them to explain their actions the next morning. The Demon King tells the mage that she is going away for a while and makes her promise to watch over the hero. She also bids farewell to everyone and leaves for the underworld, escorted by the hero and the maid. The hero returns, hoping to see them all again soon. The king from the Gateway City frees the general girl who was locked up for deserting the city and fighting for the Winter King. The general vows to attack the Winter King's country, and the king inspires him with hatred toward the Winter King. They both laugh and promise to take over everything from the Winter King. The merchant visits the house of the Demon King and is attended to by a little maid who brings him some tea. He comforts her, telling her not to be nervous as she seems scared. The older maid, disguised as the Demon King, enters the room. She is wearing a ring that allows her to transform into any person at will. As the merchant and the disguised Demon King start talking, the merchant realizes that he's not speaking with the real Demon King. He reveals this to the other maid, who is then confronted by the hero. The hero removes the ring, and the older maid transforms back into herself. The hero takes the merchant on a journey, teleporting him to different places, including the gateway city where humans and demons now coexist. The hero and the merchant attend a banquet where the hero reveals that the Crimson Scholar is a demon with the intention of uniting both humans and demons for a better life. As they watch the rainbows, the hero offers to sell them to the merchant as he stands for the demons. Meanwhile, the head maid and the Demon King are in the demon realm where the head maid remains at a gate. The Demon King warns her that if she emerges, she will no longer be herself. The head maid responds that she will stay herself if necessary. The mage kneels before the hero and offers to be ordained as a knight, committing her body, sword, and soul to the hero as her master. The hero tries to reject the offer, but the mage insists. She cannot ask the hero to be her master as he belongs to the Demon King, but she is giving herself freely as she has always been her person. The hero finally agrees and ordains her as a knight under his authority. The maids then meet with local villagers who give them a partridge as a token of gratitude for the Crimson Scholar's help. The little maid prepares the partridge, which is complimented by the mage and the hero, who note her growth as a great maid. Suddenly, a loud noise is heard at the door, and it is the Winter King and the old man. They invite themselves in and bring a letter, claiming that the agricultural methods taught by the Crimson Scholar are evil and the potato crops she gave are demonic. The mages outrage, but the hero decides to save the older maid and leave in the night. Despite the old man and the mage's worries, the Winter King offers to sacrifice himself, but the hero tells him not to get down and that he's used to leaving at night. The merchant is visited by a diplomat. The merchant asks the diplomat to lend his assistance and gather information to put a stop to the Council of Ten's actions. The diplomat asks if the merchant is trying to buy time, and the merchant replies that he's not looking for victory, only time, and that's what the Crimson Scholar wants to do. The diplomat agrees to the offer. People are gathered at the church in the city of the Winter King, shouting that these soldiers are framing the Crimson Scholar and plotting against her. The hero, watching from a tall building, makes his way inside and meets the mage and the older maid. He tells them how crazy it is down there, and the mage says that the peasants love the Crimson Scholar. The older maid reveals that the people are telling the truth and how good the Crimson Scholar has been to them. The mage complains that she'll have to listen to the lecture from a smooth-tongued messenger. The hero hands the Demon King's ring to the older maid, who transforms into the Demon King and surrenders to the soldiers who came with the accusing messenger. The mage tells the older maid not to worry, as the hero will save her because she can be taken away. The older maid, however, falls to her knees crying and blaming herself for the situation. The messenger and his soldiers arrive on stage, where the Winter King thanks everyone for coming. The messenger asks if they have brought the Demon King, and the Winter King agrees that they have the Demon King. The mage and the older maid come on stage, and the messenger asks if the Demon King is the one. One of the men confirms it, and the messenger orders that she be put in chains as the soldiers take her away. One begins beating her, and the hero waits for the perfect moment to save her. The messenger allows the Demon King to speak to the peasants, and the older maid, disguised as the Crimson Scholar, speaks from the heart, encouraging the people to not be anyone's insects. The messenger orders the peasants to stone the Crimson Scholar, but they stone him and his soldiers instead. The Winter King saves the Crimson Scholar, stating that he's ashamed to let others control him and that he'll stand and protect her and his nation. Sitting at the table for a meeting, the old man poses a question to the group: does accepting the older maid's speech mean we've picked a fight with the Central Nations? The older maid, the Winter King, and the female knight all apologize. One of them at the table speaks up, saying they shouldn't apologize because they heard that the speech was marvelous. The female knight informs the group that these serfs are now impassioned to rebel against the landowners, causing the Winter King to worry about how the royalty will handle the situation. The person states that they should be on the side of their people, to which the Winter King thanks the potato for providing enough food to support twice their population. This raises the concern that their actions could be seen as defiance against the Central Nations, potentially leading to a destructive war. The hero, confused, asked what the Church or Central Nations hope to achieve with their actions. The female knight responds that they desire wealth, knowledge, respect, and power and have no plans to change their ways once they've taken everything. Meanwhile, the merchant and his accomplice discuss the changes ahead, with the merchant planning to outsmart the future by storing wheat and other essentials to sell for profit during times of scarcity. Sir Cloud Dragon and the general of the Gateway City complain about the shortage of potatoes and salt in their city after losing Aurora Island. The Princess of Gateway City interrupts them, telling them to stop complaining and mentioning that the Eastern Fortress General is human. Sir Cloud Dragon excuses himself. The Southern Triad decides to introduce tariffs to avoid a collapsing economy due to rising prices in the Central Nations. At night, the merchant is visited by the Princess of Gateway City, who asks for salt. The merchant sees an opportunity to help each other in multiple ways and questions her trust in him. She reveals that she made the decision on her own and trusts him because he's the only one who can fulfill her request. Meanwhile, the Demon King is asleep in the demon realm, reminiscing about the time the headmaster confronted her about becoming the Demon King. She thinks about the day she will meet the hero in 15 years and is willing to risk her life and possibly die by his hand as long as she gets to say hello. The merchant and his associates discuss a 3-point increase and agree to make a purchase. However, news arrives that the church is supporting the Holy Capital's plan to introduce a new currency. The Princess of Gateway City asks the merchant for clarification, and he explains in detail, both commenting that the government will reap substantial profits. Meanwhile, the Demon King and hero went to Gateway City and held a grand meeting with every living being in this city. The Demon King made a powerful